The Scandal at Mayerling is a true story. It really depicts the demise of the Austro-Hungarian Empire through the heir to the throne of that empire and the suicide pact he has with his young mistress. It does exist as a production, a beautiful production that was created for the Royal Ballet. Sir Kenneth MacMillan choreographed and created Mayerling in 1978. But what I wanted to bring with The Scandal at Mayerling was a bespoke production for Scottish Ballet. I'm often asked if we've changed the choreography. The simple answer is no. The Scandal at Mayerling is different to the original version of Mayerling because we're looking at Rudolf's life, but really centered around how the women impact his life. Because as you start to pare back some of the scenes, the choreography is shown in a slightly different light. And that's what Gary Harris, who is staging the work for us, and I have been looking to bring to the production.
Fabulous dancing and some fantastic characters. It's a real movie of a ballet, you know. It's a sort of blockbuster because it's got everything in it, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll. It's heartbreaking because it's true. In this particular staging, I've worked closely with Christopher and Deborah MacMillan on editing the ballet down and cutting out some of the scenes that aren't necessary for this particular production. So it's really about Rudolf and Mary. It's their story, and you know, the other characters just cut straight to the chase, really, with the main protagonists. He was born into such an enclosed, privileged world where it was just protocol and bureaucracy and etiquette. You know, his mother and father showed absolutely no affection or love towards him, which he craved.
He's a very conflicted character. Naturally, I think I'd say reserved person. He was very into natural sciences, which led him to his obsession with death. I think just the different people in his life gave him so many different types of personalities. He actually didn't even really know which one he was.
Crown Prince Rudolf, that role is central, but really, most importantly, the women in his life affect the course of history, really.
Dear Empress Elizabeth, she's Rudolf's mother. She doesn't know how to behave with her son. Rudolf wants her to show those feelings towards him, and he's asking for it, but she just can't. And that probably explains a lot of his behavior with other women.
His story is about the women in his life that he was craving, that sort of mother attention, love from his mother.
She doesn't know how to show it. He doesn't know how to ask for it. It's a really difficult scene to get right, but when it lands, I find it incredibly heart-wrenching.
Mary came into his life. She was only a baby. She was only sort of 16, 17 or something, but sort of, I guess, totally infatuated with him and totally taken in with his mad world. And the outcome was that they entered a suicide pact.
I think she wrote in one of her letters that it was the only way, the true way to be with him. It's that complete abandonment and love, and she's just willing to do anything.
From the moment go, from the first duet that you can see there's a tension, a connection.
Obviously you have to remember all the classical lines and all of that, but you can be a lot more human and a lot more real.
The last part of it with Mary right before the ballet ends, it's just pure emotion and pure physicality. I actually get quite moved doing it because you're putting so much into it.
The relationship between Rudolf and Stephanie is completely different to the Mary one. It's much more of a transaction, their wedding, their marriage. She's actually quite young, she's very naive in comparison to Mary, who matches him. Stephanie is completely the opposite, and she's just completely clueless on how to help him. The Ballet represents their first night after the wedding, so obviously there's a lot of nerves and excitement, but it turns very quickly into something completely dark.
That's when you really see his mad side coming out, and what his true character's like.
It's very physical, and I think the challenge for me was to actually not help my partner because he has to be the one in control.
By then, I'm physically extremely tired, so I'm not actually acting. It's just pure emotion because you're so tired, that's just what's driving you through.
This particular production asks those that are playing the Crown Prince Rudolf role to really up their stamina. I mean, it is an absolute marathon.
Physically, it's extremely demanding. As the curtain goes up, you're full out, there's no ease into it.
He's pretty much on stage from the beginning of the ballet right through to the end. It's physically challenging and mentally challenging because you need to see that journey of his downward slide into complete madness without portraying it as a comedic. It's got to be sort of subtle.
It's definitely a roller coaster of emotions. Naively, I didn't think it would impact me that much emotionally, but it definitely did. To really make sense of it and to really show the emotions to the public, I have to be really in the moment, so it's very real, yet still going with the choreography and the steps and following the music. I guess that's the main challenge. It's knowing the choreography so well, so then we're able to stay in the moment and act on each other with the emotions, yet still be true to MacMillan's choreography.
The more we do it, the more there's a relationship with Rudolf. The more we build up those characters, the more we can react from each other, and we just go with whatever the other gives us. And then we don't think about the steps anymore, and I can feel now at the end of the process, yeah, it's ready to go on stage.
I'd say it's just investing in the moment and just forgetting where you are.
It is challenging to really put yourself out there, show all those vulnerable sides. But I think the way to do it is just to do it fully and to immerse yourself into the character, the story. I don't want to do it halfway. I want to do it fully.
I think if I was a man, Prince Rudolf would probably be like my number one role. They have to go to such a deep state because they're my friends. It feels so real. It's hard to watch, but it makes it so thrilling.
It's utterly visceral, highly dramatic, really compelling. It's just amazing that Kenneth is able to tell such a story so vividly with no words at all. Remarkable, absolutely remarkable.
I'm still pinching myself sometimes. Yeah, it's a massive bucket list tick.